So it seems that most of our political problems come from men. Is it time to ban men from politics? Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. The mayor of Portland last night was tear gassed by these, we still don't know. I mean, apparently these are mostly people from Customs and Border Patrol. These are the people who gleefully pour out bottles of water in the desert that are left for people who might be dying as they're crossing a desert. Right? Those are the same people, right? Ted Wheeler, our mayor, last night, he said this is urban warfare tactics. This is wrong. He said, I'm not going to lie. He said, it stings. It's hard to breathe. And I can tell you with 100% honesty, I saw nothing which provoked this. He was attacked. Last night, the mayor of our city was attacked by officers under the direction of the President of the United States. Meanwhile, and I'm going to tie these stories together. Meanwhile, in Texas, in Starr County, Texas, that county has started sending people with COVID home to die if they determine, doing an evaluation at the hospital, that they're unlikely to survive. This, it's just very straightforward. They're saying they put together these panels. Sarah Palin used to call these death panels. It is a primary care physician, an emergency room doctor, the hospital doctor taking care of the patient, a social worker, and one of the hospital's administrators. They review every single one of the COVID cases in the hospital, and the ones that they don't think have a good chance of surviving, they're sending them home to die. Just go home, put your affairs in order. I know you can't breathe, sorry. We're not going to stick a tube in your throat. We don't have the resources. Now, what's the common denominator between these two things? Well, increasingly, it appears to be men. If you look at the countries that are doing the worst in terms of COVID virus, the countries that are absolutely failing. Here in the United States, for example, it took us from the end of January, from January 20th until 3 weeks ago to hit 3 million cases. It took 3 weeks to add another million. We are exploding with virus right now in the United States. And frankly, I suspect this is just the beginning because it still hasn't hit most of rural America. It's hitting the cities in red states. So the countries that are doing the worst are the United States, Donald Trump, Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, Russia, Vladimir Putin, Spain, Pedro Sanchez, the UK, Boris Johnson, Italy, Sergio Mattarella, and France's Macron. Now, those are all men. The countries that are doing the very best with the coronavirus, Taiwan, Tsai Ing-wen is the prime minister. In Iceland, it's Gianni Johansson. In Finland, it's Sauli Niinisto. In Norway, it's Erna Solberg. My apologies if I'm mangling these names. In Denmark, Mette Frederiksen. New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern. And of course, in Germany, Angela Merkel. So the countries that are doing the best, those 7 countries that I just named, are all run by women. The countries that are doing the worst are all run by men. The Iroquois Confederacy, I mean, you talk about how things shake out through natural selection, Darwinian processes. You know, over time, if you give a human society enough hundreds or thousands of years, they will figure out how to live, how to make things work. And as has been documented by numerous people, probably the very best is Peter Farb's book, Man's Rise to Civilization and the Native American. The history of first contact with, I believe it was 34 different Native American tribes. It's an absolutely mind-boggling book. It became the basis of a good chunk of Dan Quinn's book, Ishmael. But when you read that book, you get that many Native American societies had done what the Iroquois had done. The Iroquois are most famous for it because Ben Franklin wrote about it, Thomas Jefferson wrote about it. It was well known to the founders. John Adams' wife knew about it. was that in 4 of the 5 Iroquois Confederacy nations, men were not allowed to run for public office, essentially. They had things to do, they could lead hunting parties and, they could do all kinds of stuff. But in terms of governing, it was women. The guys who were the runners, the sachems, those were men, but the people who actually made the decisions were women. Is it time to bar men from politics? Now, I realize there are some people out there whose heads are exploding. Some of you may be saying, but Thom, you're a good guy. I would vote for you. Yeah, but look at the statistics. Look at the numbers. Look at what happens when you've got countries that are led by women versus men, or states, or counties, or cities. I think that we've got, kind of a reckoning here. Now, I get it that it was only in 1972 that it became the law in the United States that credit card companies could no longer require women to have a man co-sign for them. I remember that. My wife wanted a credit card. 1972, that was the year that the credit card companies stopped requiring a male co-signer to get a credit card in the United States. Somewhere in the 70s, I don't recall exactly what year it was, the newspapers by and large stopped having segregated men wanted and women wanted help wanted sections. But, I was talking about Darwinian selection. Over time, the Iroquois figured out what worked. I mean, the Iroquois and their forebears have been on this continent for at least 10,000 years, and there are some suggestions it could be as high as 20 or 30,000 years. And through trial and error, they figured it out. This is like just so... We are being poisoned by testosterone. You've got, Bill Barr and Donald Trump and Mike Pence. Mike Pence saying, we need to control women's bodies, us men. You got Donald Trump saying, we got to go to war, we got to fight, we got to kill. You've got Bill Barr, leading the fascist brigades. You've got man after man after man being put on the federal courts. Now, I get it. There are some women politicians out there who have not been the best. Margaret Thatcher comes to mind. But they're not the rule. They're the exception that proves the rule. I don't think this is anything that's going to happen anytime soon. But has the time come? Is it time to say, okay, guys, you've had your time, you've had your chance?